Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we are going to be talking about why I find Warhammer so interesting. Yes guys, this is obviously not my normal type of video, but I'm making this video to share my thoughts on Warhammer, the reasons why I find the hobby so interesting after only starting it a few months ago, really, just the tail end of December there, wow. And this is kind of a tell-all for the subscribers that might be wondering, but also maybe for any new people that are thinking about getting into the hobby, thinking, why should I invest my time into this? You know, maybe you have the assumption maybe it's like every other sci-fi, and I have to say right now it is not, and that's an assumption I had about it before I got into it, and man, was it ever wrong. So yeah guys, this is going to be kind of a tell-all for you guys, not my normal type of video of course, but I think it might be interesting for you guys. What makes it so interesting for me as a new person getting into Warhammer? Why was I so engrossed with it? Why did I start making content on it? And why do I continue to every single day? Again, I'm not bored of it, you know? I think it's a very interesting subject, and all the sub-subjects within it, all the different emotion, all the different concepts. Wow, man, I again, too much to get into right now, but we're gonna get into some of the basic things in a minute here. So yeah guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more content from me, and leave your recommendations down in the comments below. Big shout out to our members, the Hastati and our Triarii out there, Paralyzed, Tortoise. Big shout out to you, sir. I appreciate you guys. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And so with that guys, let's get into some of the reasons why I find Warhammer just so interesting. So starting off with the concepts. Yes guys, the concepts of 40k. As I said, maybe I didn't even say it. My very first introduction to Warhammer 40k was the Astartes video that came out. Yes, this was what overall got me interested in the topic, as well as the overwhelming support on that initial video. Man, I have to say big thank you to all you guys. With so many recommendations flooding in, I knew I had to look at more. But what instantly got my attention was the use of so many different sci-fi elements within that video alone. And since reacting to so many different videos since then, you learn just how many different elements are truly in play within the 40k universe. And that's what gets me, man. You know, one may look at 40k initially and think to themselves, as I did, right? You know, that Space Marines are the main focus. It's all about them. You would not know just how many different concepts are in 40k with thinking like that. I never looked into it, right? I never looked into it until a couple months ago. So thinking like that, it's like every other sci-fi, man, it's extremely wrong. Don't think that, because it's like other sci-fis in the sense that there is concepts from every sci-fi you could think about basically smashed into it, but in its own way. That's what makes it interesting to me. So yeah, as I say, once you do look into it a little bit more, you realize just how small a part Space Marines, for example, like the poster boys of 40k, just how small they are in the overall universe of 40k. You have the warp, which without getting too much into it is basically hell, right? But it's also the way people get around. People are also able to harness the powers from that warp, which kind of gives it kind of like that Star Wars element in a sense, kind of like the Star Wars The Force, but amped up to a 1000, man. This is hell we're talking about, but it's also their main method of travel, so it's not hell. It's a weird bag, but again, without getting too much into it, man, it's a fucking interesting concept for sure, for sure. You have boots on the ground, gritty combat, right, with just regular humans. Typically, these regular humans are out there fighting so many different horrors of the galaxy, typically in the way of Xenos, yes. But infighting is not unheard of, right? People are people. Infighting amongst humans takes place all the time. So you can get a perspective of just a baseline human if that interests you, you know? And if you like Starship Troopers, man, let me tell you, again, there's a whole race of a hive mind bug race called the Tyranids. And that's one of the things that got me. I love Starship Troopers. So just being able to kind of like LARP that on a galactic larger scale, it was super fucking cool to me. That was one of the things when I checked out the Tyranids that kind of was like, oh fuck, you know, it's literally like Starship Troopers in a sense, you know, which is awesome, you know. I think that's sweet. But alternatively, you also have, aside from boots on the ground, you also have towering mechs, constructs, right? These are god engines of war is what they're called, towering mechs. So if you're into Pacific Rim, if you're into Attack on Titan, anything to do with like mechs, you know, fucking huge towering constructs, war machines, man, Warhammer 40k's got you covered. You're gonna see all that and more in Warhammer, that's for sure. Again, some of these mechs, man, they have the ability to wipe out cities with just a single shot. Like, you got to think Pacific Rim on like crack again. Whatever you think of, amplify it by 1,000 basically, because that's basically what you're going to be getting in 40k. You also have at times Game of Thrones level intrigue, right, with certain stories, certain things taking place. Each person, not each person necessarily, but certain people vying for personal control within the empire, within this power scheme, this power struggle. And it does realistically portray, from what I've seen, emotion, betrayal, self-sacrifice. It does realistically portray these concepts pretty good from what I can see. I haven't really read many of the novels, or I've read parts of them, I should say, I guess now at this point. But I've not read full novels yet, so I'm really interested to get into some of the novels and actually see that firsthand for myself, not just in animations, not just in narrative representations, but also in the books themselves. I'm very interested for that. All this is purely from the human perspective, but that's not counting the books and the perspective of the Xenos races, which of course there is. Some of them are largely based off of fantasy races, which most of us, I'm sure, know, such as elves, which are Eldar, orcs, which are orcs, etc. But others obviously have inspiration elsewhere, and I think that's awesome. I think all these different concepts mashed together create a really compelling universe where there really is something for everyone. You know, if you're into kind of like the psychic abilities and what's the word? Like the elegance of like elves, for example, you go with the Eldar. You know, if you want the gritty kind of realism in a sense, you know, boots on the ground, blood and guts and the dirt, you know, soldiery, you go with the Imperium, you go with the Guard regiments. You know, if you want to be kind of like a hero or see the perspective of a hero element, you look at an Astartes, but know that this is 40k and everybody and everything is capable of dying for the most part, you know? So it's a grimdark universe out there, and it's such a compelling universe that everything I've seen so far in it, from the narrative work to the animations, all of it, man, just keeps you so interesting. So that's the first part. Part two, the lore, right? To be completely honest, so when I started getting into the lore of 40k, man, it was intimidating as fuck, I won't lie. It was very intimidating. As I see looking at my channel, even some of my reactions are hours long, and these videos are hours long. That's why my reactions are hours long, right? It can be a pretty steep learning curve, but honestly, my opinion here, start small. Pick a topic that interests you. Want to learn more about Space Marines? Focus on them. Focus on the Space Marines. More about the Guard, the individual soldiers? Focus on them. Maybe you want to learn more about the mechs specifically. That's what interests you. You're a, you know, a BattleTech guy, a Pacific Rim guy. Maybe you're interested in these fucking huge constructs, right? Go look at some information about the mechs, you know? Focus on what you like. Start small. Focus on what you like. And start with what interests you and go from there. You won't know everything right off the bat. You're never going to know everything right off the bat. There is so much. Warhammer is such an expansive lore base that going into it, you will not know everything. But you will start to piece stuff together. You will start to get bits and pieces of it. And especially when you start looking into some of the actual stories, or even if you start with the stories, I recommend personally start with animations just to get your interest, and then from there, research the topics in that animation that you enjoy. That's kind of what I did in a sense, and I think that works really well, because then you're always compelled to keep going further, you know, in a sense. But yeah, you won't know everything, and if you want some more context, you can always go deeper into the rabbit hole, look at more videos on that, read more on that, but know that you don't have to know the entire history of 40k, 30k to get started in it. You do not need to know absolutely everything. Find what interests you and go with it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you do want to start from the beginning. That's completely up to you. But if you don't, and you just want to see maybe a brutal last stand of a single battle in a single war with countless thousands being fought across the galaxy at the same time, then that choice is yours, man. 40k lore can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. That's the great thing about it. If you're only interested in, you know, certain battles taking place, certain wars, then go and research those certain wars, those certain battles. Base what you want, base the knowledge of 40k and your interest off of what you personally are interested in. That's the great thing about it. All these concepts make it so you can be interested in it however you want to be. And the lore is fantastic. So many great lore channels out there, so many great books. Man, so much to keep you interested, that's for sure. And I've only reacted again to the videos on YouTube. There's probably so much more out there. I haven't even got started, you know? So again, so much lore out there. Do what interests you at the end of the day. Find a topic that interests you and just simply look it up. This in 40k, it'll probably be there and you can research more about it. It's awesome, guys. And second last, I guess I should say, is the hobby itself. Warhammer 40k outside of the universe lore. It has so many different books, animations, fan arts, narrations, the miniature collecting, and obviously the tabletop itself. If you enjoy reading, you'll likely never run out of content from what I hear. Because man, the Horus Heresy series, for example, it's got 60 books in it by itself, you know, so you will never run out of things to read. You got your work cut out for you there, for sure. The animations I have seen on the channel, both fan-made and official, but mostly fan-made, they've fucking have blown me away, let me tell you that right now. Voice acting in them, even the attention to detail, the graphical work itself, so much love and attention is put into these animations and these fan works, and it's fucking fantastic to see. If you like action, go watch one of them. Go watch the Hastati trailer, or even the new Raptors video that came out. Go watch one of those, man, and the action alone will just keep you glued to the fucking screen, and you'll want to learn more about that based on those videos alone. That action sequence alone in Astartes, the entire thing, man, again, it compelled me to actually learn more about the universe. So I really recommend starting with an animation and then basing, you know, kind of what you want to learn off that animation. Maybe you saw the Space Marines there, learn more about the Space Marines. Maybe you saw some of the Guard. Maybe you saw some of the Psychers use their Psyker abilities. Maybe I want to learn more about that, you know? Lots of similarities with other universes, Star Wars, Starship Troopers, but it does it in its own way, keeps it unique, and again, amplifies it by basically 1,000, you know what I'm saying? So again, the lore, the hobby itself is awesome. I love the animations. And what interests obviously a lot of people is the miniature painting side of it, the collecting part of it. While I haven't painted any myself, I do plan to do that as for a subscriber goal of 1,000. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe. At 1,000, we are going to be doing some mini painting. And while this certainly is a money pit in a sense, obviously all collecting hobbies kind of are, it's one of the most interesting aspects of 40k to me. Some of the work I've seen from my own subscribers alone, some of the stuff that you guys have posted in the Discord, it's fucking crazy, you know, it blows me away. Such great detail, and just the ability to have your own army, personalize it how you want. You can have your own, you know, based on opinion, pick your own army, pick your own color schemes, kind of in a sense, customize how you want. This is yours, and I just find that whole collecting aspect of it extremely interesting. While I might not myself play 40k, the tabletop, at least anytime soon, man, I really like the collecting aspect of it, and just the ability to collect and paint your own miniatures, collect your own army. That's super cool to me. It would be awesome to have like some battle scenes one day or something set up eventually, maybe down the line, you know, if I ever go further with it like that, you know. But last, guys, the community for 40k. The community for Warhammer 40k, it blows me away. It truly does just blow me away. From what I've seen, Warhammer has one of the most patient and just overall generally accepting fan bases that I've ever seen. Going in knowing nothing, you might think like, okay, you know, you might get outcasted. People might make fun of you for not knowing certain shit. That's not been my experience at all. The support, at least on my channel, on my side of things, has been phenomenal. I've gotten, I think, one bad comment ever, and the rest of you guys have been fucking phenomenal. You're so willing to share your knowledge, share your experiences, Let me know any tips for painting or for any lore that I might not know or something I didn't pick up on. You guys are so patient, willing to explain that to me. I really can't thank you enough for all of it. So from what I've seen, the community truly, it does really make the Warhammer community, because like there's toxic fan bases out there, you know, like where it just isn't encouraging to new people to come and join. But from what I've seen, man, you guys are so accepting. It's like, not only am I interested in the subject, but you guys make it so available and so easy to come into this hobby knowing nothing. You know, it's such an accepting fan base. So that's one of the big things for me, right? Like, again, just community, just how far you guys are willing to go for each other. It's awesome to see. I simply haven't met anybody besides, like, again, 1 or 2 comments that have been aggro about anything, you know what I'm saying? And even when they were aggro, it wasn't aggro about anything I didn't know. It was aggro on me as a person, I think, more than anything, right? So yeah, I think the Warhammer community is great. You know, if you want to learn more, don't be afraid to ask questions, because somebody out there is more than willing to explain it. I promise you that. Obviously, with so much lore in Warhammer, maybe not everything you hear is going to be correct, so you obviously want to double check yourself. But that's just the nature of Warhammer. There's so much different lore. A lot of it can be down to opinions, just based on what you read, based upon what you see. People can come to different conclusions, different opinions. So it's just one of those universes where there's so much going on. There's so much to actually learn, so much to delve through. And if you're one of those people like me, like where you can, if you find something interesting, you can deep dive on it, you can go on it for a long time. This is certainly the topic for you, because there is so much in Warhammer that you will not get bored if you're a person like that, like me. You know, you will be interested in it for a long time. I promise you that. Even to this day, I make a video on Warhammer pretty much every day, depending on what it is. And yeah, I'm not bored of this topic yet. I could make I'd hope to make a lot more videos on Warhammer yet to come. So yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about this video. Obviously, this is not a reaction video. This is simply just more of like an opinion, me explaining my side of things, why I find Warhammer interesting, guys. I know this might not be everyone's type of video, and I know it's mostly just me talking for fucking 20 minutes probably, but you know, at the end of the day, I think it's just good to talk about it. So let me know at the end of the video here, what got you guys interested in Warhammer? What made you come to the hobby? What made you interested in it? You know, why, and how long ago too? So if you came like 10, 15 years ago, what's kept you interested in this hobby for that long? It's a really interesting question. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more content from me, and leave your recommendations down in the comments below. And yeah, big thank you to our members, the Hastati and our Triarii out there, Paralyzed Tortoise. Big thank you to you, sir. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And yeah, guys, without any further delay, this has been Centurion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.